It's fascinating to think about how we learn the skills and knowledge we possess. For instance, consider how we learn to go to work, to walk, to run, to think, or to pick up objects with our hands. From birth, we start with virtually no knowledge, only a few basic instincts such as breathing. Most of what we know is acquired through practice and experience. Learning is one of the brain's most remarkable functions. From a very early age, we have an incredible ability to absorb everything around us, almost like a sponge. Even if we don't consciously remember all the information we take in, the brain has an amazing capacity to store these memories. Although accessing and retrieving these memories might not always be straightforward, they are still stored somewhere in our mind. There are ways to train your mind to make better use of the knowledge you absorb, whether to capitalize on beneficial information or to eliminate harmful patterns. You can also develop new mental habits that support your well-being. By the end of this video, I will show you how to achieve this. For parents, it's crucial to understand that setting an example is more effective than merely speaking or instructing. Many of the habits a child will develop and the language they learn throughout their life will come from observing their parents. So, if you don't want to see your child picking up inappropriate language or behaviors, it's important to model the conduct you wish to see in them. You need to eliminate not just swear words from your life but also harmful influences such as images, sounds, and music. These elements can set numerous parameters for a developing human brain. As you might already know, exposing young minds to excessive digital stimuli today leads to various cognitive, emotional, and even physical issues. For instance, giving a very young child a cell phone can cause concentration problems, hinder growth due to the light-sensitive nature of growth hormone production, lead to learning difficulties, exposure to violent and often pornographic content, and even back and neck pain. These are current problems that new generations face. However, as you'll see, even in our time, there were issues related to stimuli and influences when we were children that might have led to negative actions you still carry into adulthood. This brings us to the central topic of this video, brain hacking. You might be wondering, what does it mean to hack the brain and how can you apply this concept to your own life? Biohacking is essentially about combining technological and biological concepts to achieve peak performance. It may sound complex, but let me break it down for you. Mixing technology with biology involves more than just using an app to measure your blood pressure or wearing shoes that help you run better. It's about understanding how your brain works and learning new ways to perform the activities you engage in. It's not about literally hacking your body, as if we were in a cyberpunk future with chips or implants altering bodily functions, though Elon Musk is certainly pushing the boundaries in that direction. Instead, it's about changing habits with an understanding of how your body functions. This leads us to the first topic I'll cover about biohacking on this channel, brain neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Shaping your brain to develop new activities, establish habits, and break free from addictions is crucial. Pay close attention because I'll provide practical examples of how this works in your life. Understanding how your brain functions gives you power over your own mind, allowing you to change your thought patterns. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to form new neural connections, learn new skills, and forget old habits. For instance, if you want to cultivate a habit of walking, running, weightlifting, calisthenics, playing football, basketball, dancing, or any other positive activity that resonates with you, neuroplasticity plays a key role. However, the same principles that allow you to develop good habits also apply to learning how to live with harmful behaviors like excessive pornography consumption, social media use, smoking, drinking, and caffeine dependence. If you find yourself struggling with any of these, as many people do today, you need to actively work to unlearn these vices to transform your life. Let's take social media as an example, which is a common issue I receive messages about on this channel and Instagram. To overcome a social media addiction, you may need to be prepared to completely disconnect from certain platforms permanently. Breaking a habit can be as challenging as forming one. Typically, bad habits are acquired easily, while good habits are harder to develop. Social media, in particular, is designed to alter your thinking and make you dependent on it without you realizing it. Fortunately, there is a solution. You can reverse the damage caused by excessive social media use, not just by deleting your accounts but by addressing the underlying habits and triggers. The structure of social media platforms is designed to keep you hooked, so merely cutting back or taking occasional breaks won't suffice. Overcoming social media addiction, and any old vices, requires ongoing, consistent effort. It's a lifelong process of continuous training and development, rather than a temporary fix. Returning to old habits, such as using social media more than before to make up for the time you spent away, is not the solution. Remodeling your brain's neuroplasticity can be challenging initially, but with consistent effort, it becomes easier over time. It's crucial to regulate your sleep schedule, become more organized, improve your diet, prioritize your mental health, take better care of your body, and establish a workout routine that you enjoy. This is the key to achieving the results you want and simplifying your life. Let me be clear, simply leaving social media and then playing video games until 3 a.m. or deleting your social media accounts while regularly eating fast food will not bring the tranquility and simplicity you're seeking. Achieving a calm and uncomplicated life requires discipline and determination, with the understanding that the long-term rewards are far greater than immediate, fleeting pleasures or instant gratification. You need to take seriously how much the information I'm sharing can transform your life. I teach you how to put all this into practice comprehensively in my course, Vida Descomplicada. In this course, you'll embark on a journey with detailed lessons on routine, organization, high performance, mindset, and even relationships. If you're interested in joining the new Vida Descomplicada cohort starting this November, go to the video description and click the link to the waiting list to sign up. I highly recommend not missing out because there will be an exclusive Black Friday promotion available only to those on the waiting list. Additionally, you'll gain access to an exclusive community within Vida Descomplicada, where you'll find people with similar challenges and goals, as well as direct contact with me, since I also participate in the group. I like to say that learning something new is like walking through a dense forest, challenging but ultimately rewarding. In the beginning, navigating through dense forest feels completely uncomfortable and difficult. However, as you consistently travel the same path each day, a trail begins to form through the undergrowth. Over time, the obstacles, such as stones and branches, are cleared, and the path becomes level. This process reflects how learning works. One of the key aspects of learning is repetition. As the late Professor Pier Ludovico Piazzi famously said, "A lesson taught is a lesson learned." Our brains learn in this manner. When you encounter something new, committing to learning it involves reading, listening, asking for explanations, and practicing repeatedly until it becomes second nature. Whether it's studying math or learning to drive, many hours of practice are needed for you to master these skills and perform them almost automatically. It's also essential to embrace the possibility of making mistakes. As the old saying goes, those who do not err, do not learn. While there are indeed people with extraordinary abilities who can quickly grasp and perform new tasks with minimal instructions, this typically falls into one of two categories: either they possess exceptional intellectual prowess, which might not apply to most of us, or they had prior exposure to similar knowledge from their environment or upbringing. When you are passionate about or genuinely interested in learning something new, the process becomes much more natural and quicker. To understand this better, think of the brain as a machine. Inside this machine, there are billions of neurons that connect and transmit small electrical pulses. Information travels through these electrical pulses, and with learning, these connections strengthen and become more efficient. As you continue to acquire new skills, you create new neural connections. The more you practice or the more common a task becomes in your daily life, the faster these electrical pulses travel between neurons, making the information more quickly accessible to your conscious mind. For instance, if you drive a manual transmission car, you might recall how difficult it was at first. Learning to avoid stalling, shifting gears, turning corners, signaling, and using the correct pedals all seem challenging initially. However, with regular practice, driving becomes second nature, and you perform these tasks effortlessly. This illustrates the concept of neuroplasticity I'm discussing. Returning to the topic, it's crucial to understand that retaining important information is as important as eliminating useless data. By letting go of memorizing irrelevant or temporary information, you free up space in your mind for more valuable knowledge. For example, knowing efficient routes can be useful, but relying solely on your phone for navigation can be limiting. It's important to memorize essential information, like routes and safety measures, to drive more securely and avoid dangerous areas. However, why store information that doesn't matter or make a difference? This principle extends to habits and addictions as well. For your brain, there's no real distinction between habits and addictions. If you grew up in an environment where everyone smoked and it was normalized from a young age, you're more likely to adopt this habit yourself. An individual who starts smoking after the age of 18 faces significant challenges, but those who begin smoking at a younger age encounter even greater difficulties. This is because from an early age, they become accustomed to the behavior, the gestures, and the smell of smoke. Similarly, alcohol consumption and other harmful behaviors follow this pattern. An addiction essentially develops from a habit that is started, continued, and then becomes incredibly difficult to break. For early smokers, there's often a point of no return. The initial experience may be unpleasant, but after consuming a pack or two, if they persist, they can become addicted. A common feature of addiction is the awareness that the behavior is harmful, the desire to stop, yet an inability to overcome the environment, triggers, or personal willpower. The environment plays a significant role. For those of us born before the 2000s, it was common to see chocolate cigarettes marketed to children, encouraging them to mimic the smoking behaviors of their parents. These candy cigarettes were often placed near real cigarettes in stores, making it convenient for adults to buy both, inadvertently associating the pleasure of sweets with the image of smoking, a troubling practice. In past decades, advertising campaigns were extremely aggressive, employing extensive psychology and manipulation to shape behavior and persuade consumers. These ads aimed to create an association between their products and positive feelings, thereby increasing sales. In response, laws such as those enacted by CONAR, National Council for Advertising Self-Regulation, were introduced to curb harmful advertisements. However, with the rise of the Internet, companies found new ways to influence masses, aligning their strategies with contemporary interests. Media, through soaps, music, celebrities, influencers, films, banners, and posters, has continuously sought to maximize sales, often disregarding the well-being of consumers. These influences remain pervasive, ingraining themselves in your life and mind, making you accustomed to constant consumption. Billions of dollars have been invested in creating a social media environment that is shallow and filled with incentives and bright stimuli. The word buy has become less prominent because users are so conditioned by the media matrix that purchasing has become a default mindset on social platforms. The connections we form in our brains are not only for academic content or addictions but also for the foundation of our habits. When you were young, you didn't brush your teeth every day on your own. Your mother likely reminded you at first, maybe even brushing your teeth for you, showing you how it was done. Over time, you learned to do it yourself, and now, as an adult, brushing your teeth after meals has become an automatic habit. You don't need anyone to remind you, you just do it as part of your routine, along with your showers, personal hygiene, eating, going to work, etc. All of our habits are results of learning, whether conditioned or not. For example, someone who regularly takes walks didn't start doing so at the age of 5 or 6. Instead, they conditioned themselves to walk for specific goals, such as losing weight, improving cardiovascular health, clearing their mind, or simply finding a quiet place to listen to music. The first step to transforming your life is to start paying attention to the older and more harmful habits you've carried with you for years. Many of these habits come from external influences and family culture, and you might not have ever considered where they originated or why they are so detrimental to your life. Once you identify these habits, you can begin working on removing them. To make room for new, positive habits, you need to replace negative responses to everyday triggers with positive ones. By making these small changes, you'll start to notice significant differences in your behavior over time. Essentially, you're training your brain to act according to your desires rather than what others want or dictate. This is one of the biggest benefits of adopting a minimalist lifestyle. Just as with money, tools, social media, work, and relationships, everything has its pros and cons. Your brain is no different. What you need to learn is how to better understand and access the positive aspects of each element to lead a calmer and more simplified life. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a comment below sharing your thoughts and let me know what topics you'd like me to cover on the channel. Don't forget to check out the waiting list for Vida Descomplicata in the description and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Talk to you soon, and thanks for watching.